This video outlines the proper installation of the YaleGrip synthetic pulling and stopping grip. The first demonstration describes the complete installation of a 6-leg YaleGrip. An abbreviated demonstration follows showing slight variations for installing a 4-leg YaleGrip. The primary advantage of the 6-leg YaleGrip is that it distributes compressive forces more evenly, making it the best choice for handling an umbilical. Calculations used in the demonstration are required for installation on a cable, pipe, or umbilical that is 3 inches or 76 millimeters in diameter. To ensure that the eye end of the YaleGrip doesn't slip off the end of the cable under load, always anchor the eye several feet from the end of the cable when setting up your installation. Yale engineers can help you determine the proper length and load-bearing capacity for your application, and will custom manufacture YaleGrips to suit your needs if a standard configuration isn't suitable.
In this instance, I'm going to be using a 3-inch cable to apply this grip to. This is a 1-inch style 6-leg YaleGrip. You can see that it has 6 legs to apply, and in that application I'm going to be applying right, left, right, left, right, left throughout the entire procedure. And I've chosen a 4-inch pipe that I will call for this application a 3-inch pipe so that I can show the entire procedure through this. And normal application as well is away from the end of any pipe or cable that you're going to be applying to. Always away from the end of the pipe or cable, because there is some movement once the load is applied to the cable. For this demonstration, I'm going to be applying the grip much closer to the end of this pipe section than I normally would. And also for this demonstration, I am merely calling this particular pipe, it's a 4-inch, but I'm going to use measurements for a 3-inch or 75 millimeter pipe for this demonstration only. The first part of this is separating your legs out. The YaleGrip has, obviously, this is a 6-leg YaleGrip that I'm applying here. 3 legs split down the middle here to the right, and 3 legs to the left. Easy enough. I'm just going to be applying some tape to the eye to affix it in position while I apply the grip. And use as much. You can use electrical tape, duct tape, bungee cord, whatever happens to be handy to fix the eye in place. And that's all I'm doing, is positioning it while I'm applying the legs. When we apply a 6-leg or a 4-leg grip for that matter, we always start on the same side. I'm looking down at the eye. I'm going to start on the right-hand side of the grip itself, and I'm going to make my measurements now and mark off my pipe. And what I'm going to do is, since I'm calling this a 3-inch pipe, the first dimension where my top crossover will happen is 10 times the diameter of the cable, pipe, umbilical that I'm working with. So in this case, I'm going to start with a measurement from the crotch of the eye, right between the legs, approximately 30 inches down or 76 millimeters down the rope. And in this case, I'm just going to be using some electrical tape to mark off each of the spots so it's visible to you. The next measurements, we want to always do a minimum of 10 crossovers, which means the legs will cross each other a minimum of 10 times throughout the length of application. The next dimension that we'll use is 9 diameters. And then I'll measure out and mark it 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And the last crossover will occur at the last marking. This way it's a progressive decrease or increase in angle compared to the center line of the pipe itself. I'll lock that off. So 9 diameters, 27 inches, or approximately 69 millimeters. And 8, 24, or 24 inches, 61 millimeters, or centimeters, excuse me. 7, 21 inches or 53 centimeters. 6, 18 inches, 46 centimeters. 5, 15 inches or 38 centimeters. 4 is a foot, 12 inches or 30 centimeters. 3, 9 inches or 23 centimeters. 2, 6 inches or 15 millimeters, and down to 1, 3 inches or 7 centimeters. These are all the crossovers that, at a minimum, that we would need to do. If you have the leg length, appropriate leg length, you can do 12 diameters and start with 12 and do 12 crossovers. But for this particular demonstration, I'm going to be doing just the 10 minimum crossovers. We always start on our right-hand side, facing down at the eye, and take the first inside leg, the number 1 leg, and wrap it clockwise. And where you want to land is approximately on top of the first mark. We're then going to take, and with the assistance of another pair of hands, makes it a lot easier, I'm going to put hand tension on the line and always keeping each leg of the grip flat to the surface to attain the highest amount of surface area that we can get, the better the grip. And at each crossover, I'm merely just going to be coming to the top section of the pipe itself with each wrap, turning and making sure that my leg stays flat to the surface and untwisted. As you can see, it building up a bunch of twist in it, but I'm just going to go over each mark and wrap it, and this would be a helical or helix pattern. That's all right. For the demonstration, I've got an excessive amount of tail left. For this particular application, this grip was designed for a 4-inch pipe, but the application would be 24 feet under normal circumstances. But the ending of the tails themselves is exactly the same. I finished my last crossover, position in the last crossover, and I'm going to perform a lock where I pass the tail under itself. Oh, did I?
I did.
No. Oh, it'll go through. No, it didn't. It's doubled up. Sorry.
So they doubled it up, passed it over first.
Again, I'm trying to keep the tail as flat as possible, going all the way around the cable. And I'm going to put another, after this crossover, I'm going to perform another half hitch, wrapping over itself, taking the excess tail, and then tucking under itself. This will lock the tail in place and prevent it from moving. And when we're done, the normal procedure after finishing all 4 tails, we like to see the application of duct tape or bungee cord, which will aid in the tails being locked down and prevent the tails from getting pushed back up against themselves. So applying 2 half hitches at the end will keep the tail from going back, and you can see it's flat and the application stays untwisted the entire way. Leg number 2, inside the left-hand side. We're going to apply that underneath and go counterclockwise over the top and be in the same crossover position as we were for leg number 1. So each subsequent wrap ends up in the same position crossing over leg number 1. And you can see I'm not putting a lot of tension on the legs, but I am trying to keep them even. And again, flat to the surface. And you're going to build up a bunch of twist in the legs that you have to keep continuously taking out. That's why a second pair of hands is handy. This is doable with one person, but a second pair of hands is very handy. Okay, let's take all the twist out of it. And I'm going to go over the last crossover. And I'm going to take the tail and bring the tail past the first set of half hitches or clove hitch and perform the exact same thing. I'm going to end up with 2 half hitches or clove hitch, a clove hitch, which allows it to self-lock the tails in place. Now normally you would end up with just a few feet of tail left over. And it's important that you do end up with at least a few feet, depending upon the size of your cable, that you have to have enough length left to perform your half hitches or clove hitch at the end. So you always want to, after the first 2 legs, you always want to make sure you have several feet, enough to wrap 2 more times so that the subsequent leg wraps can go past and also have enough tail to wrap and lock in place. Now we're going to go back to the right-hand side again, leg number 3, and we're going to go the same direction. We're going to go back to clockwise, and I'm applying this leg just beyond. Here's leg number 1, here's leg number 3, and I'm applying it in this particular location at crossover number 1, parallel with it, down line or down the pipe in front of the previous one. Now if I'm looking back, I'm in front of, I'm looking back towards the eye, I'm putting it in front of that number 1 wrap. And I'm going to follow that all the way down number 2. It's in the same position. Now when I get to wrap position number 3, crossover number 3, I'm going to start to space this out. And my result at wrap number 4 is going to be approximately 1/3 of the way between wrap number 4 and wrap number 5 when I land this last one. You can see I've got a little bit of separation here, and on the next one I'm going to end up with more separation, and I'm approximately 1/3 of the way down. This aids in allowing the legs to be even when you apply the load. The first 2 sets of wraps, 2 crossovers, will start to pull and move, which translates the load down into the legs from tension that you're putting on the eye to compression on the pipe or cable that you're using. So I'm just going to apply it approximately 1/3 at between each crossovers of legs 1 and 2. And the important part about these wraps is that they do land on the pipe itself in order to get the grip. So here's the ending wrap of legs 1 and 2. I'm going past those and just wrapping around till I get over the second leg clove hitch. Now I'm going to just start and do the exact same thing I did before, which is pass the leg through itself. This is a bit excessive, but you can see when we get to the last legs that they are even shorter because of the length of application. So I'm just going to apply, wrap over again, and tuck it under. And there's that wrap itself. to tuck under. Keep it flat and tighten up on it. Leg 4, I'm back to the left-hand side, and I'm going to go counterclockwise. And I'm going to follow the same pattern as leg number 2, but fall again in front of it, so I'm crossing over leg 3, leg 4, crossing over leg 4, but following just in front of leg 2. Leg 2, leg 4. And in this case, I'm going to continue to follow leg 3, so I'm separating and starting to spread leg 4 out so that it matches and lands on leg 3 at its crossover, approximately 1/3 between crossovers 4 and 5. And again, the ends of the tail, we're trying not to interfere with the other clove hitches tail, so I'm avoiding going over them and spreading the end of the tail out in order to do so. Yeah, just taking a little bit of twist out of it, flattening it out. We're back to the eye again. We're going to go back and now leg number 5, which is going to follow legs 1 and 3 in a clockwise direction, downstream, landing downstream or in front of legs 1, leg 2, and leg 5. Well, excuse me, 1, 3, and 5. And for the first 2 locations, crossover locations, we're parallel with legs 1 and 3. When we come down to the 3rd crossover, I'm moving in front of the other 2 crossovers. The first for legs 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 5 and 6 is a little further down. When we get to crossovers 4 and 5, I'm now 2/3 of the way down between crossover 4 and crossover 5. And now I'm going to remain that way, approximately 2/3 between each of the crossovers, so that I'm using up as much surface area as possible. And again, I'm at the very end of the tail, so I'm just trying to get enough crossover, get enough length here to go over in between the other wraps, so that I'm not interfering with how the wraps go. And we'll take out the twist that's in the leg, and we'll put another clove hitch starting just beyond the last wrap. Leg 6. We're back to the left-hand side, and we're going to follow legs 2 and 4 counterclockwise. And parallel to, downstream, crossing over leg 5. Parallel the first 2 crossovers, and then starting to spread out so that we're crossing over leg 5 at each point. Now I'm at the tails again, so I've got to lead this tail length down over, trying not to interfere with the other hitches on here. Just crossing over enough to get me past leg 5. The main reason for the spacing here is twofold. First, we're grouping the legs together here to translate the tensile load applied to the eye through the legs in this portion. The eye has a tendency to slide up, putting tensile load, but transferring the tensile load into the main body of the grip by spreading out the legs and applying a compressive load for the entire rest of the length up to the tail. So about the last 50% of the grip in compressive load. We're going to show a 4-leg YaleGrip application here, which is exactly the same as a 6 minus the last 2 legs. Distance of crossovers is exactly the same for each pipe. This demonstration again is on a, we'll be calling this a 3-inch or 75mm pipe to apply it on. You can see we've already applied the first 2 legs using the same crossover marks as we had for our 6-leg YaleGrip, starting at 10 diameters, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 diameters. Now with the 3rd and 4th leg, we're going to apply in the exact same pattern. I'm going to come back for leg number 3, which is on my right, and we're going to apply it outside of leg number 2. First crossover is parallel and right up against leg number 1. Now at the 3rd crossover, just as we did with the 6th leg, I will start to space out the 3rd and 4th legs here by going just at a slightly steeper angle to end up between in the middle at 50% between crossovers 4 and 5. And I will maintain that 50% for the remainder of all the wraps. For the 4th leg, when you run into a situation where your leg length is extremely long, we'd recommend you spool the leg up flat against a small plastic or wooden spool, whatever you happen to have, to be able to deploy this last leg and put it in position. It's handy because when you're dealing with legs of 40, 50, or even 100 feet in length, it makes it easier for your helpers and yourself to be able to apply the leg properly. So all I'm going to do is just start applying the leg in same parallel position as leg 1 going counterclockwise, or excuse me, leg 2 going counterclockwise, and positioning it parallel to leg 2 and the first 2 crossovers bunched up. Unlike the 6th leg, where we space a third, a 4-leg grip, you start spreading your spacing at lines between the 3rd and 4th crossover, and you go 50% because of the being 4-leg instead of a third as a 6-leg was. At the end of the splice, once we've put our half hitches or clove hitch in each of the 4 legs, normally for this demonstration the legs were excessively long, so I've just taped over the tails here to show you this using tape or small bungee cord, in this case just some standard duct tape over the ends of the tails, will help prevent the tails from getting caught up. It gives you a nice slippery surface for the tails, as will bungee cord, where the ends of the tails can't get fetched up down the chute or around an edge as you're deploying your cable or umbilical or your pipe. This just is a little preventer. You can apply it over the entire length or over the tails and the eye to just help prevent that the tail or the eye from moving during deployment.